Hi, friends, it's Lori, and welcome to Main Street Garden. So, today I wanted to come out and walk the garden with you and give you a June garden tour. So, I love to capture the garden each month. It's a great reminder for me, the gardener, but I also want to give you some ideas, some inspiration, some things that may be helpful to you as you're on your gardening journey. So today's tour, I want to focus on the beautiful crabapple beds, but also the new garden bed up at my magnolia tree. So that garden is pretty new, and I thought it might give you some ideas and inspiration and let you see how that garden is progressing. So I want to walk through that one. And then we're going to end back here at the shade garden. You've seen a lot of videos on my shade garden, but I want to show you these spectacular Annabelle hydrangeas. They are just looking amazing. So I want to give you that as we wrap the video. Now, if you see some of these pink flags throughout my garden, I used these to mark where I need some drip added. There's some spots that I got ahead and wasn't able to add the drip. My husband or son helped me with that. It's just one thing that I don't have to do. So I've got these flags for them. I also was out of town for a few days and I needed to make sure a few things got watered. So this just helps. That's what those flags are for if you see them. They will be coming out hopefully this weekend. All right, I'm going to head down to the main garden and then again, we will head back up here to the shade garden at the end of the video. Let's get started. Okay, so here in the crabapple beds, I have two crabapple trees, and surrounding them, over the past 2 years, I've had to change out these garden beds because, of course, they're getting much more shaded. Now, it is almost hydrangea season, but not quite in this area. The limelight in the back will probably not bloom till late June. We just haven't been warm enough, and it's a later bloomer for me. Now you can see how tall it's getting. It's actually, I'm going to have to do some trimming on this crabapple tree. They are competing for the sunshine, and the tree over time is going to get taller, but I do need to manage that. I also have this gorgeous honeysuckle vine, and it is definitely just going crazy. So it's time for a little cleanup on that guy. The clematis is almost done. I sometimes get a second flush on this one, but it's been absolutely beautiful. The beautiful, just gorgeous white. It's got like an icy blue tint to it. I love it. So after that finishes, the honeysuckle will continue to bloom and just kind of fill this space with some gorgeous summer color. Now, coming around here, I have the early evolution hydrangeas. These are what is in the bed, and they're only supposed to be about 3 feet tall, 4 feet wide. So I think they're pretty much at their growth size. But look at these gorgeous blooms. This is a hydrangea from Monrovia, and I love it. They start out this creamy color, and then they turn to like a whiter white and then pink. So as I do videos throughout the season, you'll get to see the evolution of these hydrangeas. Now this one is getting more sun in the front, so it is definitely getting larger. Now this hydrangea over here is a Bobo, and it is really taken off this season as well. It's its 4th year. It has never been this large. And of course, I'll show you all these gorgeous blooms. We'll have a hydrangea tour as soon as they are in full glory. But this bed has really come together nicely. You can see my mission this year is ground cover, and this bed is just doing fantastic. I have a sedum type ground cover and then a ajuga, and I love the dark richness of the ajuga. I think with the pops of hydrangea, it's just going to be beautiful. Now, in this section, I do have some weeding, so ignore that. The mugwort continually comes up. I do have some grasses that I don't love this small type carex. I think I'm going to take that out and change it. I did add a little hosta, I have some gardenias and I think I'm actually going to get a bloom. I wanted to keep this in soft colors, lots of white, and I've got a little bit of yellow. I do have back in the back, those are going to be some yellow daylilies. Because of the shade, they haven't popped out just yet. I also have some pops of blue in this phase, but the salvia has all finished for right now. It's kind of that in between season before things pop back out again, by July 1st. But look at all the growth on the boxwood. All of my boxwoods, with all the rain we've had, they've really just taken off. This bed also has several peonies, and those, of course, are finished for the season. But overall, just really, really happy. We are having an arborist come out. Our crabapple trees are just stunning. But in their 4th year, I want to have an arborist look at them, help me with pruning tips and strategies, and just make sure they continue to stay really healthy. They are at that stage where their little berries are getting larger and larger, and they will get really red by the holidays. And then the birds devour them very rapidly. Okay, so coming down into the patio window boxes, these are window box containers. They are just doing amazing. I just gave them a trim and haircut. Now, I wanted to show you this beautiful snapdragon. So I grew these from seed. These are, I'm almost positive, apple blossom. I've never had them look this beautiful. So they were very late to come out, but they are just doing amazing. I just think they're so, so sweet and gorgeous. Now, I kind of stuck them in this container because I didn't really think they were going to do very well. So I'm kind of having to prop them up, but you can see how tall they're getting. So I've learned my lesson. You have to be a little patient sometimes, especially with things that are seedlings. They just needed to get some warmth and some sunshine, and they've just taken off. This one is a different variety, and it's going to be more lavender. So it's time to cut the salvia back in this bed, but it has been beautiful and it will flush out again. So here's kind of the front view of this bed. Now, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, early spring, I added this hedge. And these are actually hollies. They're compact hollies. And man, they are filling in so beautiful. They are very soft. I love the waxy green. This is what I wish boxwoods would do in my area. They just don't do as well as hollies. So I'm just going to stick with the hollies. And I need to get one more for this corner. And I think I'm going to have to get one that's a little bit taller. I can't find the compact ones right now. And I think I want something that's more of a punctuation mark. Now I have the fairy trail bride hydrangea. It's her first year. She flushed really early from the nursery, and she's not doing a whole lot. I'm not sure that she's going to flush out again. And so I may move her in a couple weeks. I see a few buds, so maybe I need to be patient, but I'm not sure that I want something that is kind of messy and not full blooming all season. I reduced my containers on my patio, and so I really want to make sure that I have things that are shiny and bright, especially I really wanted a pop of white here. So we may move her together in the coming days. So as we come over on the patio, you can see the main container. I did cut this back last week, so about a week ago. I gave it a nice haircut, and it's flushing out really nice. But it's going to just, continue to grow and do great. I love the Tiara Pink. She is kind of a demanding. She would do great in the landscape and in a singular container like I have right here. So I think being in just these containers by herself, she has done great. She is not as aggressive as Bubblegum, but she is pretty aggressive, and I think really likes to be by herself. So if you are thinking about trying Tiara Pink even next year, she's doing great. I did again give her a nice haircut. She was kind of going crazy. You can see she's planted down here and she's growing up, which is fine because I really needed something softer on the edges. That was my only mistake planting this container, but she's making up for that gap for me. So she's taking over down all around. All right, so then this crabapple bed, it's a little larger. So I have a few different items in it. I do have these hostas, and they are just getting ready to bloom gorgeously. Now, I know some people don't like the blooms. I do. I just think that's so magical and kind of cottage looking in this space. And since I don't get a lot of upright blooms besides the hydrangeas, I really, really like it. Now I added one of those gardenias here. This one's not blooming, but it's its first year. And again, the early evolution hydrangeas. They're kind of in all different stages this year. And then the star right now in June is definitely these gorgeous kind of butter yellow daylilies. So these are the proven winners daylilies. And man, this one is in just its second growing season and it's amazing. I think I can divide it. Need to look. Let me know. Do you divide daylilies in the fall, the spring? I don't think it matters. So I definitely want to divide her, move some more around the garden. Plus, she needs to behave in this garden space. I don't need her to be huge. But for right now, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm just in love with this color. So, so pretty. And again, the hedge of hollies are doing fantastic. And this container is just doing great as well. Really beautiful. I love the colors that I chose. They kind of match the garden, and then they don't, I wouldn't want the tiara pink colors right here. I think with the tiara pink up there and over here, having something softer for your eyes to land on is really nice. And it kind of is just an extension of the garden. So whenever you're doing your containers, think about that. Is it next to a flower bed? What are the colors like? How can you extend using containers but not take away? So I think that was a solid decision. Now I also have a sweet little container in this bed just because it was larger. It kind of needed something. And unfortunately, I think there's some rock under here. I've had a hard time planting anything. So just added this little container. It's doing great. Some sweet hostas down there, a juga. Now this grass is doing a little better than the other. We'll see. I may just try to cut the other one back. I do want to get some more ajuga and some sedum to fill this spot. So we're going to do that together this summer. You can see a tiny foxglove here. This one has reseeded and does great, but she stays really petite. And I just love that little touch in the garden. I did transplant this boxwood, and it's a really pretty one. I think it's doing okay here. I need to give it some fertilizer. Coming around, we have some Nepeta. It needs a haircut, and there's some salvia back here. So I'll need to spend a garden morning before the heat comes in and just do some weeding and cleanup in here. It usually only takes me maybe an hour for both beds. Pretty easy task. Now I have a gorgeous David Austin Elizabeth Rose here, and she is, of course, needs to be cut back, but was absolutely stunning. And she's in her final first flush, but I know she is a repeat bloomer and we will get more. It's her second year and she is filling out really nicely. Now, again, this is the same hydrangea that's on the other side about to bloom. And then in the back is a huge limelight. Over from that is a Rose of Sharon, and that is the blue chiffon, which is such a beautiful pop of color next to all the white hydrangeas. Now, down here was a Baptisia, and she flopped. This is a blue Baptisia, and it flopped like crazy. You can see all the weeds I need to get up. So I just cut it back. What's great is it will reflush and it'll stand up tall and be beautiful the rest of the season. This is the yellow version. It's shaped a little differently. It does great. Probably in a few weeks, though, I'll give it a haircut and then it'll flush out as well. Now over here, this is a flock. It has not started blooming yet. I cannot wait to show it to you. This was a flock that I found when we moved into our property. It started coming up in the spring, and I mean, it just came right out of dirt, and I realized what it was and saved it, and it is beautiful. Behind it is another limelight hydrangea that I hope this year stands up tall. It's looking really, really good. We have some gladiolus that I planted last year. I think they're pink. We'll see. And of course, this major wheeler honeysuckle trumpet is still just in full bloom. This was my mom's, and this is the one that I cut. And then we have some napata that bloomed and is growing, and hopefully will flush out again real soon. And as we come along this border, this is all relatively new as well. I've tried some different things in this area and I've changed it out. So right now I moved this Atlas Rose by David Austin. It is absolutely one of my favorites. The color is amazing. It starts this kind of real coral color, then it gets a little bit softer, and you can see as the petals fade, so beautiful. This one blooms all summer. I do deadhead it. I like my garden clean and neat, but you don't have to. And it stays relatively small. Now, for some reason, mine has two main branches. So it almost looks like two plants, but it's one. And then right behind it, I have this dahlia. Now, this is one of my dahlias from seed, and I need to get it tied up to my post. I'm letting it bloom because I just want to see them all once. It's got, gosh, four blooms on it. And then I will come in and cut it really deep so that it will branch back out because I want to have blooms all summer into fall. This is another dahlia right here, and I just recently gave it a nice haircut. So we have a totem pole grass that I like in this spot. It hides the water pump, and sometimes I do have to tie it up. It's probably due for just a little bit of keep it off the grass. So overall, I just love the way this space has filled in, and with the crabapple beds. It's our driveway border, and really up to the water pump right here, it has just been exactly what I wanted. So it just came together really nicely. And I think it's because I framed it with some larger plants and then filled in. So next, I'm going to show you the rest of the driveway up to the magnolia tree bed, which is all new. Here's the driveway view of the garden that I just showed you coming around. Now, if you'll notice right here, this little plant and this little plant, that is true trumpet vine, the invasive kind. It was covering this property and it is deep in the ground. It's much like bindweed. So we deal with it constantly. And unfortunately, I'm allergic to it. So my husband has to come out, follow me around the garden, and he digs it up for me. It loves this part of the garden. See it peeking in there? It just loves it. So this is where we still haven't been able to get rid of it. Most spots in the garden, it has decided to go away, but we try to get it right away and then it seems to stay manageable. If we let it get out of control, it really starts taking off. So we've got to get it out here and get rid of it. Now I put this container of dahlias here because this had kind of been an open spot, but as you can see, it is getting very crowded. So I may have to move it. We're just going to give it some time. This spirea, it was a baby and I had moved it from another spot in the garden and it's just doing great. So it's kind of hugging the container. And then this hydrangea back here, you guys, had been asleep for 3 years. She has never been this big. And growing up like this, never. This is again one of those, I'm almost positive it's a bobo. I'm going to look it up when it blooms. So I'm excited how big it is, but my container may be infringing on it. So we may have to do some rearranging in a couple weeks and move this container somewhere else. All right, so again, this garden bed is, some things have been here a while, but some are new and are doing great, but it's just in transition. So I'll start here. I added this beautiful Elizabeth rose. This is just one from Lowe's. It was $20. So she has just not stopped blooming. I couldn't be more excited and happy about this rose. She is very bright pink, but I think as this garden matures, it's just going to be a really nice pop. And she cuts well, really excited about it. and it's just doing great. And then as we come along, I have a small grass here. It really doesn't do much. There is some annuals that I added. I have another container of dahlias, but for some reason, this one is not as happy as the other one. So I'm gonna have to give it some more fertilizer this week. And then this is the Emily Bronte rose that I transplanted. And guys, she's doing wonderful. I am so happy at how well she's doing. And I just want her to keep growing. I'm giving her fish emulsion about every 2 weeks. It's a week strength of it. And I think she loves it. I just want her to stay really healthy and survive since I transplanted her. After I transplanted her, we had an extreme cold front and she really struggled. But I'm so glad that she's bounced back. Now, coming on up the driveway, I did add a hydrangea here. This is going to be a firelight. And my plan is to keep it, of course, trimmed in the front, but I want it to get as big as possible. So in its first year, I know it's not going to be that large, but eventually she will kind of be a hedge here. I also added a rose of Sharon. This is the purple one. So again, these two this year will stay, they'll get a little bit taller, but then my hope is they get really tall, kind of block the garden, and then you have the rose layered in front of them. There's plenty of room. I will most likely move this spirea because she is not going to work in this space, but she was a good filler for right now. And I always have spaces to move things. And then this garden is right here at my Magnolia tree, which is incredible. She's just been beautiful. The shape is turning out so nice. I love the branching and she's growing beautifully. So what I did is I added the firelight. I added the sunshine ligustrum, but she's on the naughty list. We'll see if she sticks around. And then this spring, I added 3 of these. They're a type of privet by Proven Winners. They do not seed or spread, but they get about 3 to 4 feet tall and they have gorgeous white blooms on them. I think it will be a nice alternative to a hydrangea, but it will add that pop of white, a lot of green. So Veronica is almost through with her first flush. I have lots of Veronica. I love it. It just keeps blooming though, and you almost don't have to deadhead it. Look how much the pollinators just love it. I also have a white agapanthus that comes back for me incredible. And I know they're kind of temperamental, but man, it's just done great. So we'll have blooms soon. This is the second rose. Look how tall and gorgeous. So I love this in this space. So here's a view of this garden bed. Now, everything on the inside of this garden bed is only this season old. So this used to be raised beds. I used to have a raised bed garden where I would do cut flowers, things like that. I loved it. I was able to check that off my box as a gardener, like I did it. I grew lots of cut flowers. I enjoyed it, but it was so messy. And then I didn't have any winter structure. So I took it out and I planted some new things. Let me walk around and show it to you. So as we walk to see that garden, let me show you the containers. I got these Italian, they're like a stone concrete kind of stone. They're Italian. They do get a little dirty, but they're just dark brown, but I think they just give such structure to this space. I really struggled. I have the Jardin arch, and I wish they made some metal containers to match. I had tried black here and it was just too harsh. And then I tried lighter colors. So when I found these, I thought, oh my gosh, I think they're going to be perfect. And I do. I really love them. So this year I put in the beautiful pinkerific dahlias from Proven Winners, and I combined it with the cashmere pink. And I think it's going to be gorgeous. I will have to keep the cashmere pink tamed, but I think it's turned out beautiful. So that's an update on that container, and I'm loving it. As we come through the trellis, I have this gorgeous blue clematis. This blue clematis, she has taken off with all this new growth. And what I'm so excited about, she is only 2 years old, is she is going all the way up the trellis, which is what I wanted. I wanted her to really fill in and just provide this gorgeous color. It's already been a month. Boy, she just continues to shine. I mean, just up and up and up. I couldn't be happier. This is just one I picked up at the, local store. Now, I do have a rose in here, and the rose, there's a whole story around it. I won't go into it today. I'm not sure if it's going to come back out. We'll see. But the clematis is definitely the showstopper. I have so much clematis in my garden. I love it, and I would love to have more. Okay, so I thought today we would focus a little bit on this garden bed since it's new. Wanted to give you an update. So I do have this hydrangea here, and it is really interesting. I need to look up what kind this is. So this is funny. I got this from Gardening with Creekside. I ordered it online during their fall sale. It was in the little pint-sized pot, and I saved it, put it out last year, and it just kind of sat. And then look at it this year. So if you're ever struggling maybe with a budget and wanting to add some larger specimens, you can always get something that's in those small containers and like the annual size, but it's a shrub, and give it just 2 years and it's going to take off. Gardening with Creekside ships Proven Winners plants, and I just cannot say enough about them. I love their channel. They are such a sweet family business, and I've definitely supported them and cannot speak highly enough. This plant is just coming out beautiful. So I'll show you once it gets full bloom and full color. It's going to be beautiful. So I've got some ladies mantle at the front. I do want to add some more ground cover. So that's going to be my summer plans. The lamb's ear was transplanted from my garden. I did add this beautiful flock. This is from Proven Winners, and guys, it's gorgeous. Look at that. I just think it's beautiful. Love it, love it. Now, I moved some little hydrangeas from other places in my garden. These are called I think it's the Grumpy Gardener. I kind of plucked them around, but I do think they need to be moved this fall up front. I have one up here. I think I have one in the back. And this one might be okay. What I may actually do is move these and kind of place them around the basket. When I put them in the ground, I didn't know what I was kind of doing with this garden space, so they may get moved around a little bit. So what I'm most excited about in this space is this sweet little path that I added. And I just wanted it to be filled with beautiful things, a mix of annuals. I've got some Rebecca that's just growing like crazy. I have seedlings that I planted, this gorgeous basket container. I had some iris. There's Speedwell Veronica. And then, of course, this gorgeous first edition hydrangea. Now, again, this one came from the nursery, and so it's already blushed out, but I love that pop of pink out here. These are some Rebecca that will come out really soon, filled in with some Cleome, some white, some purple. And so I think as the summer continues, this is just going to take off and be super magical. So let me walk around and I'll show you the basket up close. Isn't that gorgeous? All those colors. So I'm happy with how this is coming together. Is it all going to stay like this? No, of course not. It's just its first year. I'm going to think about what I like, what I don't. I can already tell you that I'm probably going to move some of the Veronican things along the path and then probably put in some plants that I need to move, like the Spirea I showed you earlier. I'm going to probably fill in. These hydrangeas are going to get larger, so they're going to fill this entire space. So I definitely am going to move some things along the path. My goal would be not to plant annuals here. So by moving some things this fall, it will be ready for next year and just do amazing. So in the center around my container for this year, I've filled it with dahlias, snapdragons, just a bunch of beautiful seedlings. And here's my other little hydrangea. It's getting probably squashed out, but just tons of beautiful things that I think are just going to do great. So I'm excited to see how that comes together and looks. But this container's definitely blooming beautifully. And the dahlias have just got buds all over them. And I think once everything kind of takes off and we get some heat, it's just going to be stunning. Now the rolled doll rose is still blooming her head off. She's absolutely one of my favorites. Again, I transplanted her, but look at this gorgeous shape. She's very, not quite vase shaped, but almost. She gets a little bit wider than like the Lady of Shalott, in my opinion, but I'm so glad that she is just doing fantastic. Look at these gorgeous little blooms. This garden bed I just cleaned up in a video, so you've seen it, and I kind of show it quite a bit. Now I do want to show you something happened while I was gone. So I had a gorgeous Zambia plant right there, and look what ate it down to the ground. It was up, it was up like 2 feet, and it had blooms, and it is now a nub. So I'm going to have to go get a cloche and cover it back up, and hopefully it takes off. I was so upset. I had no idea that the bunnies would love it, but I have one bunny, and it is quite mischievous. So no fun. I just planted this obedient plant. It's doing great. Of course, this lamb's ear, oh my gosh, I cut her back and she just grows more. This one especially, and if you watched my winter videos, I really struggled and didn't think she was going to come back, but man, she did. So I'll be getting in here after the rain stop and cutting her back again. I just like to kind of keep her clean. And then the spirea, I just cut it back as well. But look what's about to happen. Some beautiful blooms coming on the butterfly bush. This is a pink kind of cascading. Absolutely tremendous. And everything in here is just thriving. The viburnum, you guys, it's just decided it's going to reach for the skies. So I think I'm going to limit up. So I'll be doing some more work back here. So the star of the show right now in the shade garden are the hydrangeas. Look at the pop of white and how gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous, these kind of mop head hydrangeas are. So this is Annabelle, all in her glory. I just love her. So coming across, I do have, this is another hydrangea. This is the Limelight. That was my mom's. Now she's probably reaching for a little bit of sunshine, but she is doing great. We will have blooms later on. My containers here are doing great. Another flag, we need to add drip. I also need to cut, these are mums, and so I want to cut them back so I get blooms in the fall. So another chore list for this week. But you guys have seen this space in many videos. It's just coming along beautiful. So we'll walk to the back as I close out the video for today, June's garden tour. All right,
I think that's going to do it for our June garden tour. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and taking a look at what's growing and thriving in my garden. I hope you got some ideas and some inspiration. I am just enjoying for a minute the coolness of the shade garden, but it is time to grab those red clippers and I'm going to get back started deadheading. That seems to be my every morning. I love to come out though with a iced tea and just walk around the garden and deadhead, piddle around, putter, and just see what other projects I need to work on. All right, well, I will see you in the next video. If you are not a subscriber, take a minute to click subscribe. I would love for you to get more of my gardening content and to be a part of our gardening community. All right, everybody, thanks again. See you in the next video.